So our first article today will be presented by Gerry Tellis from the University of Southern California Marshall School of Business. And the team of researchers that he worked with sought to understand what types of marketing communication strategies would influence whether an ad would go viral on YouTube. And they studied over 109 top brands across 345 YouTube ads and investigated over 60 ad characteristics. And their findings actually offer considerable insight. So thank you for joining us to discuss this important topic, Gerry.
Thank you, Chris, and welcome to all the participants. I'm delighted to be able to share our research with you. And I've distilled it down to a practical question: how to make your video ad go viral. So most people have heard of YouTube today, not only in the US but all over the world, but not many realize that it's a revolutionary ad medium. And the reason is because you can, or advertisers can freely upload video ads to YouTube without having to pay anything. This is aside from ads that they post on YouTube and they pay for. They can also upload their individual ads on their channels. These ads serve multiple purposes. They can be the sole release of the ad, or they can be a pretest of an ad that will subsequently go on TV, or it can be a post-replay of an ad that was already aired on TV. These ads have many lives. So you have the original ad, then the advertiser itself can upload adaptations, and consumers or viewers can upload parodies of the ad. Each of these extend the life of the ad and increase the viewership. So all of this viewership can increase, and if the ad is shared, this audience can be huge, rivaling what you might get with a TV ad and sometimes even with a Super Bowl ad. They are also very low cost because the advertiser has only to pay for the cost of the ad and not for the cost of the medium or the airing of the ad. And most importantly, the ad involves voluntary viewing, unlike TV where viewers are forced to see the ad. So it's voluntary viewing, and thus engagement is likely to be higher. So most ads on YouTube are duds. That is, they get very few views. Very few ads go viral. And we can use an arbitrary, say, 1 million views as something that has gone viral. Our prior research has shown that viral views occur mainly from sharing. That means prior viewers have shared the video, not from viewers stumbling on the video. So that raises a key question: what drives sharing, which is the topic of today's webinar and of our research. So everyone wants the sharing of their ads and their videos on YouTube. Many people think it's the information value in the video that causes sharing. But we think this might actually have a negative effect, except in the context of risk. And by risk here we mean a new product or a high-priced product. In that case, people might want to see information before they share the ad. We think the most important driver of sharing is emotion. And that is because emotion-arousing ads are interesting, they grab the viewer's attention, viewers stay to the end, and then they're more likely to share and act on the message. Another component of the ad is the commercial component, which is mainly the availability of the brand name. The old mantra in advertising was exposure, exposure, exposure. That means maximize the exposure of your brand name. We think, however, that exposure might have a negative effect on YouTube because viewers realize that it's an ad and then they are less likely to share it. But if the exposure of the brand name comes late, they are more likely to share it. Since emotion is so important, the next question in the research would be, what drives emotion? And we coded each video on a number of characteristics, and we can divide them onto how much drama they have in characters and how much drama they have in the plot. So characters are the personifications or the people that appear in the ads, either lay people or celebrities, babies, animals, or the sex appeal in the ad. And the plot is a sequence of events that arouses suspense and surprises the audience. So these two elements engage the audience, and we break it up into each of these components to see how much they contribute to the ad being shared. Now, our research consisted of 4 studies. The first sample of 345 video ads, then an entirely independent second sample of 512 ads. This was the second time period, different advertisers, different ads, and different raters to code the ads. A third study was to try to predict the virality of the video ads in study 2 from the estimates of the findings from study 1 to see if what we found is just a fluke or it's really something that is underlying and generalizable. And the fourth study was to see how much is an ad going viral worth in terms of its effect on the stock market returns of each of the advertisers. One of the ads in our sample is the Bud Puppy Love, and this is a very touching ad. It exemplifies many of our findings. It turns out this ad reached about 50 and as of today even 60 million viewers, and it was the most viral ad of that year, but it's also one of the best ads ever to have appeared on the Super Bowl and on YouTube. So I'll play the ad. Make sure your sound is turned on.
Well, you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go. And you let her go.
Another ad which also went viral, and this was more informational, was Amazon Prime. But what was special about the Budweiser ad is that the brand name came late at the very end. It was flashed on the screen. The ad had a drama of 2 personalities, the puppy and the Clydesdale pony, both of which were very touching and appealing, and there's a drama of them meeting, falling in love, being separated, and then the ponies rescuing the puppy and then meeting again. And that brings us to the procedure. What we did is we hired 3 independent raters to rate all the ads on 60+ attributes or cues. The major attributes or cues were 2 aspects of information, 2 types of risk, 11 types of emotion, 10 aspects of drama, 3 aspects of surprise, 3 aspects of brand prominence, and the length of the ad in seconds. And in addition to this, many other cues. So really we want to find out what aspect of these ads caused them to become viral. And here are the key findings and implications. Advertisers should use emotion more than information because that is the biggest factor. And the current practice, 55% use information and only 15% use strong emotion. Advertisers need to use cute stimuli, babies, animals, rather than celebrities, because babies and animals come across as more authentic, whereas celebrities come across as more contrived. The current practice is only 3% use babies, animals, and 26% use celebrities. In addition, babies and animals are free, whereas celebrities you have to pay for. They should place the brand name at the end of the video. Only 1/3 do so now, because if you place it at the end, people are less likely to feel it's a commercial and more likely to share it. They should keep the ad between 1 and 1.5 minutes, and as you can see, the ad peaks in sharing at about 1.3 minutes. Too long and people do not see the end of the ad or share it, and too short, you cannot engage the audience. They should use humor and surprise, and these elements are free, and they are the most effective of all the other elements or cues. The current practice, only 28% of video ads use humor and only 10% use surprise. And information is effective, but for risky context, such as for high-priced products or new products, such as the Amazon delivery, automated delivery, which would be coming in a few years. Our next study was the effect of the ads on the stock market returns, and we couldn't actually see the effect on sales data because sales data are not available by days and minutes and weeks, and that's the time span when an ad goes viral. Typically, most of the effect is complete within a month, and the duration of virality is about 2 weeks. So we use stock returns, which are very granular and are available at weekly, daily, hourly, or by the minute. And we use something called abnormal returns over and above the gyrations of the stock market due to other news, the economy, politics, and so on. And what we find is that if the ad goes viral, there's an increase in abnormal returns of stock prices by 1.1% for the advertiser, which translates into an average of about $1+ million a day. So the more that you can extend this for 2 weeks to a month, the more you'll gain from that. And the reason is because when the ad goes viral, it attracts investors' attention, and they expect that sales will increase, and so they bid up the price of the stock, and they anticipate the increase that would arise from increased sales and revenues and earnings from the ad going viral. So that, in a nutshell, is our research, and now let's open it up to questions.
Thank you very much, Gerry. So in terms of asking questions, again, you have an opportunity to do that using the chat function in the audio box on the left side of your screen. If you can enter your questions into the Q&A tab, then we'll retrieve those and answer those. So let's see if we have any questions here. So one question, actually this is my question. I'll start with a question that I had, which is that what proof do you actually have that your recommendations work? I mean, what other evidence? You've shown some of these different features, the different emotion features, the different dramatic features, the brand name, the timing, all seem to predict virality, but how can you build confidence in the marketers that are listening to take action against these recommendations?
Yes, that's an excellent question. And for that reason, we had 2 studies, completely independent samples in each. So the first study was in 2013, 2014, and the second study was from after that time period, 2015 to 2017. And then, so the ads are completely independent. And then whatever we learned, which I shared with you in our findings and implications from study 1, we used that to predict if the ads would go viral in study 2. And we were able to predict at an accuracy of about 70%. Mind you, it's not 100%, and if it were 100%, of course, then you would have good reason to suspect that something was fishy. It's very difficult to get 100% accuracy. But we can get 2/3 of the time, or more than 2/3 of the time, we can explain why things are going viral. And so if you use these principles, you have as high as a 70% chance of your ad going viral, which is pretty good odds compared to not having any idea of what it takes for an ad to go viral.
Excellent. So here's a question from Richard. You showed examples involving Budweiser products and then also Amazon. But do you have any examples or insights for small brands, brands that might not have that, the level of awareness that those companies have for their brands?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in our model, and we have a formal model, and that's in the paper which is published or will be published in the Journal of Marketing, but it's available online. We did control for the size of the company by the number of followers. So we did have examples from small companies. I don't, and I cannot recall them off the top of my head, but the list of the ads that went viral are in the journal articles, so you can browse them and see and go back to them if they're still available on YouTube.
That's a great suggestion. We will post, in fact, it may be available now, but within a few minutes of the webinar ending, the actual article will be live, and you can look at the list of ads that Gerry and his team have there and get a sense, because there was a related question from Christina about, new brands that are not as well known and the degree to which they benefit. So what I hear you saying is that in the statistical models that you ran, you controlled for the size of the company, which should resolve some of the concerns that maybe this is due just to existing awareness of the brand. So I think we can give our listeners assurance that controlling for that, these results still hold. But if they're looking for some specific examples that they might be able to use internally to share with folks, or if they're in agencies to share with their clients, then they should probably look at that list. Is that right, Gerry?
Yes, that's correct. And let me warn you that a lot of these ads, the Super Bowl was within this sample, and a lot of big companies, Mercedes-Benz and GM and Microsoft and Samsung and so on are running ads, and most of them are duds. So just being a big company doesn't lead to success. I chose these two examples because they were large companies and the audience would identify with the brand names, but I guess I should have chosen small company ads that went viral to encourage participants.
Well, it's a good point that you made, that there were big companies in the sample who had ads that didn't go viral. So I think that's also reassuring as well. There's a question here from Hari about does a paid campaign have any effect on the video going viral? Could you see that in your data, Gerry?
That's a good question, and unfortunately we're not able to collect information on whether advertisers promoted for the ads going viral. To the best of our knowledge, we didn't seem to we don't think that is happening, because if that were happening, then all the big advertisers with deep pockets would just do that. So if it's only a matter of buying virality, they would pay the money and buy it. No, but even the big rich companies are running ads which are duds. But we couldn't collect that data because all of this information, by the way, we scraped from YouTube. YouTube didn't give us the data. But if they had cooperated with us, then they may have given us the data. And some of these companies are unwilling to cooperate because they want to keep all this information private. They don't want us to publicize it freely as we do when we publish a journal article.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the benefits, I guess, of having the journal. And if there is somebody that's aware of how that data might be accessed, you can see Gerry's email on the screen here, and I'm sure he would be happy to find out if being able to introduce this question of paid or not into the model, it might be interesting. It might raise some additional insights for managers. There's a question here about using AI and machine learning tools to code the videos, because I noticed in your presentation you actually had people doing it, but can you see a way for practitioners to use these new machine learning tools to actually do the coding?
Yes, as a matter of fact, my co-author on this study, Shashadri Tirunelai, and I have pioneered the use of machine learning to analyze reviews on Amazon and whether they contain information and whether that information can be used to strategize and whether that can be used to predict stock market prices. However, we couldn't do the same for video ads, and the reason is because AI has not reached that level of sophistication. For example, it cannot read emotions that well. And also there's another problem here. There is the emotions in the ad and the emotions in the audience. So the AI tools can get emotion in the audiences if people watching the ad have a camera on their laptop or on their computer, and that data is communicated to the analyst. But when it looks at the ad, the best AI tools today, and there's one by Adobe, one by Microsoft, and one by Google, can only capture 4 to 6 emotions, not as many emotions as we captured. And so we were not able to use AI tools. But AI is advancing, every year. And down the road, much of what we did would be able to be done by AI. I hope so. I think so.
And I guess too, if people were responding with comments, then you could use the machine learning tools to do a text analysis and uncover, detect the emotional responses, at least on the participant's part. And that might be another way to get at that in the future as well. So here's a question, Gerry, from Peter about the stock market impact. You talked about the fact that companies that are able to achieve this virality can, have a response of abnormal return response around 1.1%, worth close to about $1 million a day. How do you measure that? Can you just give? I know that's probably a whole 2-hour PhD seminar, but can you just give a little snapshot of what Peter might look at there, who he might talk to learn more about that?
Okay, there's something called WRDS, the Wharton database, which will do the abnormal returns for you. So you have to subscribe to that, and I think the subscription is about $10,000. I'm not sure, a month or a year. So one has to do it through an institution, and an individual analyst may not be willing to spend that much. But the logic behind this is that you take an individual company and figure out how its stock price moves with the stock price of an index, like the Dow Jones Index or the Standard & Poor's 500 Index. And you look at this in the prior 270 days. It's just a standard that is used. And based on that, you get a relationship between the target advertiser or company and the stock price of all the other companies in this index. And based on that, you predict the stock price of the company on the next day, and you compare it with the actual stock price. If the actual stock price is higher, then you call that a positive abnormal return. And if the actual stock price is lower than the predicted, then you call it a negative abnormal return. So the intuition is that I'm seeing whether an individual company's stock price has changed on a particular day, say when the ad went viral, over and above the whole market changing on that day because Trump made a speech in Japan or made a speech in England or wherever he is, or any other major event occurred, tariffs and so on, and caused prices to fluctuate.
Perfect. So here's a question from Lola about, is YouTube the only platform to make videos go viral? I know that's the only one that you studied. Do you have any other insights for Lola about how she might think about that?
YouTube is the most popular and the largest. I am sure there are a number of other media and a whole bunch of streaming ads, but I don't know if they have the same feature. Facebook. I would say the second biggest is Facebook. So we did look at video ads on Facebook, and there also emotion is very important. But a unique feature I found about Facebook, we didn't do a formal study and we have not published the results. We're just at the problem definition stage. That in Facebook, a lot more smaller companies are advertising, and they're using a lot more of demonstration to show off their new products. Mm-hmm. So there are other media, and as well known, Facebook is the medium for new entrants and small companies and entrepreneurs. So it would be worthwhile, and it would be a whole new study to figure out how these principles generalize to Facebook and what else might be important in Facebook.
Okay. We have just a few more minutes. So Joe had a question about controlling for other types of marketing activities during your study. You may or may not have been able to do that. Do you have any follow-ups to share with that, or other insights maybe around, marketing activities that would complement what you saw companies doing?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So the whole game has changed with YouTube. So previously, companies tried to reach consumers through advertising on TV and magazines and newspapers and billboards. Now they want their ad to go viral on social media because the engagement is so much higher. Consumers create parodies, they write comments, they share, and so on. So instead of getting the maximum viewing on YouTube, on TV, the game has changed to getting the ad go viral on YouTube. And TV has become just a platform to seed the YouTube video and cause it to be viral. So we have a related paper with whether offline advertising creates online chatter. And you could say this is the big implication with this revolutionary new medium and with these findings, that traditional advertising now is just a means to seed virality on the internet.
Wonderful. And then lastly, Richard had a follow-up question about elaborating on the risk point. You mentioned risk. Could you just say a little bit more about that in the context of the information-focused ads?
Yeah, so information, there is the naive advertisers' belief that if I provide information about my product and its superiority, people will buy it. But in the current age, people don't share it. Information is drab, it's tedious, and it takes mental effort. People share something that is exciting, touching, moving, arouses feelings, except, and that's where risk comes in, except if the context is risky. So a high-priced product like education or, a master's degree or a high-priced sports car or the examples we gave of delivery by Amazon, by a drone the same day within an hour. A plane could crash with that drone, and so there's risk. In those cases, consumers want to be assured, and that's where information is helpful, sometimes in the form of demonstration. So high-priced or uncertain products, generally we call these risk. Also, an element which we didn't have time to get into is platforms. We also did analyze sharing on different platforms. And on a high-risk platform like LinkedIn, where people's careers are at stake, information is more important than emotion. But on an emotional platform like Facebook, emotion is more important than information.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much, Gerry, and thank you all for the interesting questions. A lot to learn here, and so we really appreciate you taking the time to share with us today.
Happy to do so. Thanks very much.